And welcome back to my channel. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And Gore, on his channel yesterday, was talking about celebrating Tobe Hooper's birthday, and so I thought we would do something tonight. So I am. And yes, this is a celebration of the films of Tobe Hooper, and his birthday was Friday the 25th, right? Or Saturday the 25th. He was born on the 25th, 19, what, 43? Big loss. So yeah, I've got his films pulled up here, and I was just going to talk about those that I've seen. It doesn't have them listed in order. I could pull up like the Wikipedia, but if you just type in Tobe Hooper films in Google, you get the little box tile list at the beginning. Jen in 2013. I don't remember seeing that. I don't think that I have seen that or know anything about that particular film. Now we have 2005's Mortuary. Now I do have that. I keep meaning to upgrade it to Blu-ray. I know that I've got it on DVD. Now I really like Mortuary. Mortuary is definitely one of Tobe Hooper's top films to me. I love everything about that movie. That is a really good movie. Anybody recognizable? Rocky Marquette. Denise Crosby is in it from Star Trek. Oh, it's only got a 4.2 out of 10 on International Movie Database. A family moves to a small town in California where they plan on starting a new life while running a long abandoned funeral home. Was there a remake to that? Oh, I'm thinking of the Mortuary Collection. But yeah, I really, really like Mortuary. That's a really good movie, and it is one of those that I do have. So I don't have all of his films, but I do have a lot of them. Masters of Horror. That's the anthology, right? I do have like, I don't know if I have both seasons. I know that I've got one. I don't know if it's the one with him on it, but I do have that. Toolbox Murders, 2004. Now, I definitely keep meaning to pick up the Toolbox Murders. It's one of those that I do want in my collection. A historic Hollywood hotel houses a supernatural evil. It's been subdued for decades, but when renovations start, a series of murders take place. Now, it's got a 5.3 out of 10 on International Movie Database. So, fared a little bit better than Mortuary, but I like Mortuary a lot better than Toolbox Murders. So, moving on, Crocodile from 2000. It says you can watch that on TUBI. Oh, you don't know about YouTube and what they'll allow you to say or not. It's disgusting. But Crocodile, it says it was straight to video. 8 college students board a houseboat for their spring vacation that promises to be the best of their young lives. How many will survive? Yes, how many will survive? It's got a 3.8 out of 10 on International Movie Database. Oh, the mainstream masses do hate horror, don't they? It's got a perfect setup for me, but I guess people don't like it. Isn't that a shame? I'll probably like it then. I tend to like stuff that people don't. I've got a lot wider. I've got a lot wider ability. I know that like people look at me funny or seem to about my choice in movies. I'm lowbrow or something like that. But what I find funny about it is not that I like all of the stuff they call masterpieces, all of the stuff, not all of it, but most of it, all of the stuff that they like bluster about. I don't, I like it too. I just seem to have, they seem to be bookended in a certain place. And it's like, well, they don't like it this way and they don't like it that way. And so even these movies in between, I agree with them on, but they don't like to go outside the box. They don't like any of these and they don't like any of these. My enjoyment factor, I think it's because I love film so much. My enjoyment factor seems to be a whole lot bigger than theirs, a lot wider. I'm not as critical. I enjoy stuff that they don't. I'm not as demanding, more easy to please, I guess. But I love the masterpieces and the stuff that they all fawn over. But I also love all this stuff that they hate. And I have a top 10 worst of the year every year, just like anybody else. So it's not like I like everything, but I do seem to have the ability to like a lot more. And I imagine I would probably like Crocodile. We would just have to, I would just have to get it. So that's one that I need to collect as well, is Crocodile. Now, this one looks interesting from 1999, a movie called The Apartment Complex, an hour and 49 minutes, rated R. It says it's a TV movie. Must have been on cable then, because it says it's rated R. When a grad student takes a job managing an apartment complex, he discovers all the tenants are weirdos and there's a corpse in the bottom of the swimming pool. 5.3 out of 10. And directed by Tobe Hooper, starring Chad Lowe. I thought I recognized that dude, but I don't understand. How is it rated R? What do they mean by what do they mean by made for TV? Is an American made for television mystery thriller film directed by Tobe Hooper. But yet it says it's rated R. So, I mean, I don't know. What channel was it made for? Is it a cable channel or a network channel? In any event, I have not seen that. Who knows if it's available? Doesn't have good reviews, but then again, most horror doesn't have good reviews. So yeah, who the hell knows? Looks like you can see it on YouTube. The apartment complex, best quality. Oh, it was made for Showtime. It was made for the Showtime network. So yeah, it's made for TV, but it's a cable channel. So Yeah, it's very possibly rated R. Yes, I can save it to my watch later and check out to decide whether or not I want to try to find it. The Mangler, 1995, 1 hour and 48 minutes, rated R. Do I have the Mangler? I don't know if I have the Mangler or not. I, of course, have seen it many, many times, but I don't know whether I have it or not. If I don't, I certainly need it. Has someone done a boutique of the Mangler? 4.4 out of 10, typical for any damn horror movie on International Movie Database. And Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd is even worse about trashing horror movies. Doesn't really matter how good they are. The Mangler is a 1995 horror film directed by Tobe Hooper and written by Hooper and Harry Alan Towers. The film is based upon the Stephen King 1972 short. I do know I like it, so I definitely want that. Body Bags. Now, that's one that I've been trying to get a hold of. They did a boutique release of Body Bags, and it's a 1993 American horror comedy anthology. And yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of that. I saw it a couple of times and didn't grab it. Then I came back to grab it and it was gone. So it's one of those that you just have to keep checking on. It's got John Cooper, John Carpenter, Toby Hooper, Wes Craven, Sam Raimi, Mark Hamill. So it's got a lot of people. I really like that. I think it's a really good anthology. It's just a matter of getting a hold of it, but I'm not sure who did it. Whether it was, I want to say it was Arrow, but I know someone has done a boutique has done a kind of recent remaster of that, or it might be Synapse Films or one of those. But I saw it, and I need to get that. Moving on, Night Terrors. Night Terror sounds familiar. 1993. It's got Robert Englund in it. Uh, Attractive young American Jeannie travels abroad to see her archaeologist dad on the streets of Alexandria, Egypt. She meets Sabina, a sultry working lady who introduces the virginal Zoe to the seedier side of the city, taking part in the hedonistic joys presented to her. So Robert Englund plays two different roles in this movie as both Chevalier and the Marquis de Sade. Hmm. I don't think that I have seen that. So definitely one for the collection. I'm Dangerous Tonight. 1990. Hour and 40 minutes. Rated R. When Amy turns an ancient Aztec priest's cloak into a dress, she discovers it's cursed, and whoever wears it comes under its evil spell. Now, it is also called a made for TV, but just like that apartment complex, it was probably Showtime or HBO or something like that. I see that Kino Lorber Classics has done a remaster. It's got Anthony Perkins in it and Dee Wallace. Natalie Schaefer plays the grandmother. Natalie Schaefer, Mrs. Howell from Gilligan's Island, is in it. It's listed as a horror supernatural film, which, yeah, cursed dress. So that makes sense. I have not seen this. I have not seen I'm Dangerous Tonight, so I can't say. What's its score? Its score is 5 out of 10, a straight 5 out of 10 on International Movie Database. It made its debut on the USA Network. Uh huh. USA. Hmm. I don't know how R. I mean, it's not like Showtime and HBO, so I don't know how much of an R you can get on the USA Network if that's who it was made for. Invaders from Mars. That's only PG. I don't know. Uh, I don't know. 1986, Invaders from Mars, science fiction film. It's got Karen Black in it, Hunter Carson, Timothy Bottoms, Lorraine Newman. It was, it's got a 5.5 out of 10. I had fun. I mean, it was fun, but it's like really, really, I mean, I can have fun with, I guess, what you would call movies that are more on the kiddie side, like, I love Super 8, um, and stuff like that. But I don't know. I made Invaders from Mars was cool. It was, I liked it as a kid, but I'm not really sure how much it plays to me now. I'd probably just be watching it to see Karen Black, her performance. 1986, Invaders from Mars. Now we're getting Life Force. Oh, yes. I have the remastered. I think Scream Factory did it, but I have the remastered Life Force. Life Force is, of course, about a race of space vampires who arrive in London and infect the populace, beginning an apocalyptic descent into chaos. Um, I remember when Life Force first came out, I was a little cheesed. I was a little cheesed by the makeup effects. If you heard my rant on Day of the Dead, there's just some things, and in Life Force, I do have to suspend my disbelief with the corpses. The maybe they should have been wetter, more wet, or something, but they really did on occasion. Sometimes they looked good, but on occasion they looked a lot like what they were. Like rubber latex costumes, Halloween costumes you would buy at the dollar store. So sometimes, yeah, it fell a little bit short in the realistic version, but I love the film from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? I really, really love Life Force. It's one of my favorite Tobe Hooper. Um, so yeah, it's got a 6.1 out of 10, so it is a lot more loved, I guess, than some of his other films. And we, of course, have Poltergeist. Now, when I saw this, when I looked up this little list here, I realized that I don't have Poltergeist at all. I don't think. I don't think I have it at all. And I'm like, how do you not have Poltergeist in your collection? So I guess I'm going to have to like look at, I'm going to look it up and see what kind of releases are out there. If there's a remaster, if there's an extended, if there's a director's cut, if there is, what kind of releases exist for it. I don't know if a boutique has ever gotten a hold of it and made a remaster of it. But then again, so I mean, I don't know. I love Poltergeist. It's a really great movie, and I can't believe that I don't have it. You know, and I've got my DVD library. I have my DVD profiler pulled up, which is the program. Nope, I don't have it. I don't have it on DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray. I don't have it at all, which surprised me when I saw it in the list. I'm like, I can't believe. I know I've started to buy the remake a couple of times, the one from 2015. I know it's been on my wish list, but why I don't have the original 1982 Poltergeist, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I've seen it so many times, like most people, especially horror fans. I've seen Poltergeist so many times that I just thought that I had it in my collection. Is my only excuse if I need an excuse. Um, then from 1981, we have the Funhouse. I also have that remaster of the Funhouse. Scream Factory did it, I'm pretty sure. Could have been Arrow, but I'm pretty sure it was Scream Factory. But I do have the remaster of the Funhouse. I like that movie a great deal. Rebellious teen Amy defies her parents by going to a trashy carnival that has pulled into town. In tow are her boyfriend, Buzz, and their friends Liz and Richie, thinking it would be fun to spend the night in the Carnival Funhouse horror ride. The teens witness a murder by a deformed worker wearing a mask. Locked in, Amy and her friends must evade the murderous carnival workers and escape before it leaves town the next day. Now, I love the Funhouse. I was always surprised at the body count, because you're talking about basically just four people, which is a little on the light side for a movie like this, a slasher. The typical, because you need bodies, 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 bodies. So the typical slasher is what, six to 15. You need lots of bodies. So the group, the core group, our victim group, the pretty people in peril, is usually a lot more than four. So I was always surprised that there were just four in the group in the funhouse. However, it is very, very good, and it's very, very scary, and even though it's just four, it works really well, even with the lower body count. The scares are amazing, and it is also like in my top five of the Toby Hooper films. Eaten Alive. Well, Eaten Alive is from 1976. Psychotic redneck Judd owns a dilapidated hotel in rural East Texas where he murders people whom upset him or his business and then feeds their remains to his what? His little creature? Feeds his remains to his large pet crocodile in the swamp beside his hotel. I so remember seeing this when I was like a kid. I remember seeing this when I was like 15 or something. Probably rented it from like the DVD store. So I do really remember this movie, but yeah, it definitely needs to go on the get into my collection list. I remember that little girl they're showing the picture. I remember her. So I said I remember seeing this movie when I was a little kid, but I really need it. I wonder if a boutique has redone that. So 1976, Eaten Alive. I definitely need to get that into my collection. And I guess that leaves us, according to this list, that leads us down to the nitty gritty, and that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Um, Boy, do I piss people off about that. I think I might have a negative engram about this movie, could possibly be part of it. But I remember that I was at my cousin's house. My cousin's name was Will, and his little brother. And so I was at their house, and they had cable TV. And unbeknownst to his mom and dad, unbeknownst to them, um, he had it turned to one of the cable channels, probably Showtime or HBO or something like that. And they were showing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And this is the first time that I had seen it. And me and him and his little brother, and by little brother, I mean he was like 12, 13. We're laying there watching it. And unbeknownst to us, his dad came to the bedroom door and maybe was watching us or was going to say something, but instead he stopped because of what he could see on the TV. And I think he had stood there for a minute until he realized what we were watching, and he flipped out. He started yelling, you know, at Will, yelling at him. I thought I told you not to watch that kind of stuff in front of your friends, in front of me and his little brother. And even though me and Will were the same age, he was like jumping all over Will about showing us a movie like that, and he was yelling, and it was funny, but it was the kind of funny that you have in an awkward moment like that, because the yelling and all really did kind of hit me and his brother, and and the dad, he like walked over there and he you know turned the channel and yelled at us for watching that kind of horrible stuff. So I think maybe I've always had like a little mental engram about this movie because I got traumatized while watching it. Um, but I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it doesn't do for me what it does for a lot of people. In other words, all of the super gigantic fans, they are like really, really, really overboard about it. Whereas I am more like, yeah, it's cool, it's good, and all. But to tell you the honest truth, some of the I like some of the modern ones better. I like the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I like Leatherface. I've got everything but, and I really should get this, but I just always forget to get this. But I really should get this for my collection, one of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre releases. I'm sure there's buku amounts of releases out there and probably remasters and boutiques and stuff like that. So I'm sure it will be easy to find. But I should get this on Blu-ray just to have it. I have every other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie except for it's hard to get a hold of the Next Generation. The one with Matthew McConaughey's way over the top. And I want it just for that. I want it just for Matthew McConaughey's ridiculous over the top performance in the Next Generation of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I want that for that. But those two, this original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Next Generation, are the only two that I don't have. I have Leatherface and Texas 3 and the 2003 remake. I've got everything, for of it of the Texas Chainsaw franchise except for the original and Next Generation. Now I'm not including the Netflix things. That Netflix things that was a abomination. I am not including that in the franchise. So when I say I have everything, do not mistake yourself in thinking that I have that horrible whatever the hell Netflix did thing. That was disgusting. I hated that. It was awful, like most of their crap. Um, Most of these streaming only stuff that has no release. It had a budget of $140,000, and look what it became. Hmm. But yeah, so it was released October 1st, 1974. Of course, Texas Chainsaw was a hugely shocking game changer. And I totally accept all that. As I said, I do not dislike Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. I don't dislike it. I am just not hopping up and down and spending $200 for that chainsaw box about this movie. This movie is scary. It is a trip. It is good. I like it just fine. I just so happen to have never grabbed a release of it, which I need to do. But I have everything else except for Next Generation. And yeah, so I absolutely love it. And Tobe Hooper is a genius with this movie. I totally admit that. And finally, on his list, the last movie is, of course, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. So Toby actually did the first two, and other people did the others. It was released in 1986, more of a parody. But let me tell you, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986. A radio host is victimized by the cannibal family as a former Texas Marshal hunts them. Now, you have, Bill Moseley. Um, Dennis Hopper is beyond the pale. He is, in his version, the same as Matthew McConaughey in Next Generation. Dennis Hopper and Matthew McConaughey are kind of like doing the same thing, and that is they are wildly over the top, and I love every minute of it. Dennis Hopper, this is probably one of my favorite Dennis Hopper films is Texas Chainsaw, and I like a lot of Dennis Hopper movies. Um, but definitely Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is just so ridiculous. Joe Bob Briggs is in it. I don't remember that. But now I do have the remaster of it. Um, I do have the remaster of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's right over there with the other Texas Chainsaw movies. Like I said, the only ones that I am missing is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Next Generation. So aside from those two, I've got everything. And of course, like I said, I do not include that Netflix thing or whatever it was, that 2023 or 22 or 20 or whenever that horrible abomination was released, because that was, I do know that it made my worst list. What was it, 22, 23? But it was definitely, I could go back in my channel and look. It is definitely on my top 10 worst movies of that year, whatever that movie was released. 23, I think, maybe. But I absolutely hate that. I would never have it. Not that you can get it anyway, because Netflix doesn't release anything on physical. That's okay. I get anything I want off Netflix by going to a bootlegger. I will take a boot over anything. Boots are nowadays, boots are more quality than, I've seen boots that are more quality than studio releases because now they are the saviors of the physical media industry. So, they don't want to release it. You go get you a boot. It's fine. It's not like you're doing anything wrong. You're not, because it was never released on physical. So it's not like you're taking anything away from any other physical sales. You know what I'm saying? They did this to themselves. But yes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's the last one on the list here. And that's it. That's Tobe Hooper. Fantastic. Greatly missed. Big shame. He died August the 26th, 2017. So it was a big loss to the industry. And that was the list of all of his movies and my little thoughts on them. Of those that I have, like I said, I've got Mortuary from 2005. I've got Texas Chainsaw 1. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Life Force, The Funhouse. So, yeah, those that I have to get. I really want that Eaten Alive. I do need to break down and get the original Texas Chainsaw. I do want to get the Mangler and body bags. I also want to upgrade Mortuary to a Blu-ray. I do believe I saw a boutique had done a remaster of Mortuary, but we'll get this. And I've got to get Poltergeist. There's Doing this little thing made me notice several things that I was missing from Tobe Hooper's catalog that I didn't even realize. So yeah, great director, fantastic person for the horror community, great loss when he's gone, and that's it. That is all my little discussions on the little things that Tobe Hooper did. And yeah, I will. I'm sitting here. You see this heater? You see the mister back there putting humidity in the air? I'm in Northwest Florida. We had that thing. I'd never seen so much snow in my entire life in America. Um, I hate the snow. I hate winter. I hate the cold. It has really bothered me. But it is going away tomorrow night. It will go back to normal and we will be back up into the 70s and 50s at night. So it looks like it's going away and I will finally can get back to recording my Dead Festival when I can actually move and feel okay. So I will see you all in the next thing I do. Leave any thoughts that you have about Tobe Hooper and his films. What's your favorite? Anything like that. And I will see you. And the next thing I always remember, never forget, you are a very, very special person no matter what anybody says to you. And I will see you later.